Hello, this is a video request from Kristnaslittlehelper. What I think about, I guess, genetic modified stuff. Sent me the video, Alex Jones talking about genetic modified stuff. Alex Jones is all convinced that that's another way that the elite wants to kill people, I guess, by poisoning organs or whatever and put them in humans. Guess they're doing all sorts of interesting stuff with genetic modification of animals, growing livers onto rats, and they want to modify pigs to put pig organs in humans. I know we've always known that the pig heart looks just like the human heart. And pigs themselves kind of look like humans, don't they? Yeah, their noses and stuff. Maybe pigs actually were genetically modified humans from the days of Atlantis, and they just continued living, and that's why you're not supposed to eat pork, because they thought it was cannibalism because they're part human. But yeah, so he's like, oh, don't do genetically modified animals and stuff. And then there's the issue of genetically modified food crops, like Monsanto's company, where they patent corn, genetically modified corn that can fly away bugs and stuff. I talked about that briefly when I did my Dan Winter video. Yeah, and they were having this video where there was this guy, and he was this organic farmer, and he was getting sued by Monsanto because his farm was next to their farm, and their seeds flew onto his crop and started growing on his crop, and so then they accused him of thievery. Yeah, and that's not fair. But, okay, so what do I think about that? I think that genetically modified stuff is good, and the more that we do it, the better. It's the next level of evolution. It's a natural thing for us to do. The aliens do it, and the aliens are good. You know, like Bashar, the alien who talks. He is half human, half future human, half gray alien. So they're genetically modified, so they obviously think that it's cool. We have been genetically modifying stuff since the beginning of time. Cats and dogs have been genetically modified for the last 10,000 years or more. Apples and bananas and all that stuff has been genetically modified. It's just they were just doing it at a more crudely way, by like playing with seeds and mixing seeds and stuff. But now we're doing it in a more advanced way by actually mixing individual genes. But there's no difference. It's just more technological these days. So, and I know Dan Winter was saying that it's against the fractal pattern to genetically modify stuff, and actually I don't think it is. I think the only thing that's against the fractal pattern is stuff that is that is selfish. And but if it's done for with the right intentions, then there's no way that anything negative could come from it. The universe, God, has a built-in fail-proof system that, as long as there is good intentions, that nothing can go wrong with it. So if we all do genetically modified corn and stuff, then and we are fair about it, then nothing bad will come from it. We're not going to start dying and getting problems. It doesn't make any sense that we would. That's better than using pesticides to kill the bugs. It's better having genetically modified corn and stuff, because using pesticide is poison. It's in the water table, and that will kill us. You know, like me, I've got cysts all over my body. Every couple of weeks I find another cyst on my body. I've got like a dozen of them, and this isn't even the biggest one. I think it's my body's way of like quarantining toxins and stuff. As soon as I get the money, I'll have them removed. But yeah, so we want to. It's a battle against toxins. Genetically modified stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. And especially genetically modified human parts. Whoever, we're gonna do it anyway, so we might as well jump in full force. You either do it full force or you lose. China, China would definitely do it. China wouldn't do anything to get ahead. And once they do it, and we get left in the dust because all the Chinese are living longer than us and stuff, and selling their organs and their technology to everybody else, that's gonna become the main industry for the world. And then they're just gonna kick our asses. And then we're gonna owe money on top of that? No, if we want to keep a strong economy, we need to jump ahead on that technology, on the cloning. We should start cloning everything. Cloning people, take all the laws away. We should realize that the problem is people don't realize that our bodies, human and animal bodies, they're just vehicles. They're just machines. It's part of who we are. It's part of our soul, because we're living inside of it and moving around. In the same way that your mountain bike, as you're riding your mountain bike down the road, or you're driving your car, it's an extension of you, but it's not you. It's not all of you. When your body dies, you keep going, and then you just get another body. So that's another reason why we need to start believing in reincarnation, and realize that the body is just a tool. It's just a machine, and just like we tweak our cars and our bicycles and add parts to it to keep it going, we should be doing the same thing with our bodies. It's going to become really appropriate pretty soon for us to start living longer. If we keep dying at the age of like 70, it's just going to get like, it's going to start to get sad. Like, there's so many things to do in your life. Time perception is going by so quickly that 70 years is going to go by and then you die. It's not fair. It's time for us to start living longer. And if the way for us to live longer is by putting new organs in you as they go bad, then that's what we should do. People die because our organs go bad and get leaky, and then they intoxicate our blood because the undigested stuff leaks out of your organs and then putrefies you, and you die, or your organ stops working. And of course there's other ways to live longer. Cleaner water is the main reason why we live longer nowadays. But cleaner water and better nutrients and less toxicity. Cleaner water, better, perfect daily nutrient, and no toxicity is, along with a higher vibration, is what's going to eventually keep us, make us so that we live longer. But there is going to be a transitionary stage where we're going to be supplementing that with genetically with putting new organs and stuff in our bodies. And the more illegal we make that, the better off everybody will be, because if we make it illegal, then we'll just be doing it black market style, dude. If you've got a lot of money, you're gonna sacrifice everything you own to keep living, and so you will pay. You'll go off to some like boat off in the sea someplace to get your organ transplant or whatever, and pay all this money, and it's just gonna cause problems, man. We should just legalize that stuff. And if it's legal and we do it on an industrial level, there's no reason why the average person shouldn't be able to afford a new kidney. I mean, think about it. Anybody is gonna want a new kidney. If you're dying and you need a new kidney, you're gonna want a new kidney. So fucking wake up right now. Legalize it. You know, or else you're gonna be a hypocrite. You're gonna be, oh no, we shouldn't do cloning, and then next thing you know, tomorrow you need a new kidney. You're gonna be like, oh wait, yeah, we should do cloning. Of course we need to do cloning. And also all of the possibilities. We'll be able to have I think Alex Jones was saying that, you know, scientists predict that within 40 generations the new clone species of fish is going to wipe out the natural fish. Well, yeah, it's just a natural evolution of mankind. Everything's gonna wipe out everything. The new human being is gonna wipe out the old human being. It's naturally something that happens. We wiped out the Indians in North America. We wiped out the Neanderthals. And there's new human species is gonna come and wipe everybody out. And then the new genetically modified fish that come will wipe out the old fish, and then they're not going to cause problems. They're going to keep living. They're just going to be a stronger fish. We need to look at ourselves as the caretakers for the world. We are God. We have the responsibility to play God. And whatever we do as far as genetically modifying corn and wheat and fruits and animals, down the road those animals are going to keep living and they're going to keep thriving, and there's no like Armageddon spiral that's going to come down. That's where Alex Jones and Dan Winter are wrong. I know they are. Well, I've explained why. If your intentions are in the right place, then the natural fail-proof system of the Lord and Savior God will take care of us, man. Just gotta have faith. Have faith like a fundamentalist Christian, dude. Yeah, so I would love to live longer. And the reason we die is because our organs go bad. You know, if your veins, we've got nanobots, we could get new veins put in. Now, as far as cloning, we're gonna be able to clone like woolly mammoths and have like woolly mammoths in the zoo. That's gonna be awesome. I want that. We're gonna be able to clone dinosaurs if we find, and I bet you we will find, like, you know, a frozen mosquito that was sucking on a dinosaur or something with the blood of the dinosaur in there. You know, we could clone like linen. We could clone, I don't know who else we have embalmed. We have all kinds of people buried. We could extract a little bit of their blood or whatever, take their hair follicle. We could clone Ramses. We could clone, and I want that so bad. Because then we could clone these people, and then we could say who they are, and they could be like, I'm Ramses, yay. And maybe the DNA signature of that person could cause that actual soul to gravitate towards that body, and it actually could be Ramses. It's not just a clone of Ramses, but it's a clone of Ramses and that inhabits the actual soul of Ramses. So it's Ramses' return, you know? And then you could even train him to be Ramses. You could be like, we're going to train you to be the president because we liked Ramses. And then Ramses be like, yeah. And then he could have past life recognition. And he'd be like, oh yeah, I remember being Ramses. Oh yes. And then he could tell the story of the ancient Egyptians. You know? So many possibilities with cloning. It's just a natural part. And but the problem is we don't see that the human body is just a tool. And we should. And it is a natural thing that happens that people initially like have this like reaction, negative reaction to new technological developments, even as of late. Back in Spain, a couple years ago, they invented these machines that shake trees to get the apples and stuff to fall, and like all the people who were like normally who had the job, they protested it, and they said, no way, we want to shake the tree, but obviously you have to put those machines on there because it'll make the apples cheaper. Oh, but then we're out of work. Just get another industry going. Put those people back to work. Make it fair, you know. Make laws against monopolies, you know. Let the banks loan money to those former apple pickers so that they can buy their own apple shaker, and they can buy their own land to put the apple shaker on the apple tree. And that's what government's for. It's for keeping stuff fair and keeping. And so yeah. That's why we need to keep the lines of communication open regarding cloning and of crops and cloning of animals to make it accessible as we possibly can and as legal as we possibly can and move forward as quickly as we can so that we can outpace the Chinese and so that we don't get totally our asses kicked by the Chinese. We don't want the Chinese to take over the world. Just because the Chinese did the cloning and now they've got all the rights to all the new organs and the new people and stuff. Because the Chinese, they don't have the same human rights laws as us. If they had the strongest economy all of a sudden and we owe them all this money, and they're the ones who don't have the human rights, that's what we need to worry about. We don't need to worry about like, you know, trying to get in the way of growing the growth of evolution and cloning stuff and like having this fantasy world that's how the elite's gonna kill everybody. Yeah, we need to move ahead on that and but keep the communication lines blasted open as much as we can where people can actually talk about it. And not be like, because I know this is a fact because I make a lot of YouTube videos. A lot of people, like if you say something that they disagree with, instead of arguing with you, they just call you names. Like I had a video entitled "Everybody Should Smoke Crack Cocaine on a Regular Basis," which I do believe that hardly. But if you look at that video, you're gonna read comments on it where people are like, "You're a crackhead. You're a piece of shit. You should be in jail." Like literally, somebody said I should be in jail. And the people talk like that because people weren't raised. Our educational system isn't designed to have any respect for people communicating. And it's the same thing. That's why we have people like Alex Jones is mainstream. It's because nobody communicates. It's all secret. And if we illegalize cloning, it's going to stay secret, and there's going to be no communication, and it's going to be all behind closed doors. We have to legalize it. And then we can all communicate and we can all figure out together, you know, the people who are disenfranchised, who don't have the money to buy those new organs, can all get out there and explain why they want to have their organs for cheap too, and we can all figure out a way to keep it fair for everybody, level playing field for everybody, as we grow into a new economy, into a new world where there's new developments, where everybody gets a fair shake, where the scientists who develop this stuff get their reward and become rich off of it, because they surely deserve that. And the investors, the rich business people who do that, get rich. But at the same time, normal everyday people aren't shut out in the dark, in the cold, unable to buy their organs to keep living. Because we're gonna, like I said before, we're all gonna want to start living a long time. 70 years is gonna go by and we're gonna have these huge bucket lists because of all the cool things for people to do, and we're gonna want to be able to do that. We're not gonna want to be like in the hospital bed dying while that kid you grew up with, who's like 10 years older than you, is like still going strong because he has the money to buy his organs. And we need to, and pretty soon that's transhumanism. But pretty soon transhumanism is going to evolve into transalchemy, where we're not going to need to do more organs. We're just going to naturally, magically, through the grace of God, just live as long as we want anyways. The human body is designed to live about 900 years. And you die at the end of that 900 years, not because you just die, but because your body just gets like so old and so filled with like old vibration that you just get tired, and you're just like, ugh. And then it just gets monotonous, and then you're just like, all right, I think it's time for me to go, and you voluntarily die. But it takes about 900 years for people to finally be like, okay, I think I've done everything on my bucket list. Like, that's about how long Moses lived, isn't it? All the people from the Bible, from the Old Testament and stuff. I got that 900-year rule from Ra. So yeah, let's move forward with that. And we have to, but the most important thing is that we keep the lines of communication open, because as there's new developments in technology, there's always new changes and like new rules we have to make in order to keep stuff fair. And there's always going to be people who get rewarded and get super rich off of it at the beginning. But then we always fix it, man. I mean, we have to have faith and looking past, and we always figure out ways to fix it. Back in the beginning of the end of the second industrial revolution, when we had like railroads and stuff, the railroad barons, those dudes were so rich that it would like make Bill Gates look like a pauper. I mean, like, those big houses like in Long Island, like a staircase, they'd spend so much money on one of their decorating one of their staircases, it'd be like modern day equivalent of like $300 million or something like that, just on their staircase, But then they turned around and they were like, oh my God, I'm rich, I want to give back. So Carnegie made Carnegie Hall. Rockefeller made the Rockefeller Stadium or whatever, the Rockefeller Center, stuff like this. And Bill Gates, he's given back. He gave so much of his money away. He's not even the richest person in the world anymore. He gave all his money to like inoculate like third world, like Indonesian kids, Now you get third world dirtbags, like the Mexican cell phone line owner as the richest man in the world, And why is Mexico? Why is that? Because there's no line of communication. Because there's classism, and that's the beauty of America, is we all get to talk, and we all have a liberal economy. So we need to keep it that way. If we illegalize cloning, we're not going to be the country with a liberal economy. It's going to be China with the liberal economy, with the cloning and then they're going to be the new first world, because that's the next step in evolution of our economy. It's farming new genetically modified crops and body parts. That's it. So we need to jump in there and get ahead while we still are, because we are still ahead now scientifically. But if we make these laws, they're going to move to the countries where it's more legal. So let's do this, man. We got to do it now. Now's our chance. We got to legalize that stuff. Don't listen to Alex Jones, dude. Yeah, and I mean, even with like historical, like let's see, yeah, all of those inventions, like the spinning jenny, people protested that big time because it put them out of work, and they were like, no. And they kind of have this romantic idea, oh, the good old days, it was more natural, more, you know, you're more in touch with Earth, more hippie when you get to do it that way. And it's, you know, because people like to maintain their connection with the past, you know, like relive battles, or like people like to sew. Girls like to knit, you know, even though you don't have to. You can just buy your clothes at the store. But don't bring that into the law and politics and like force people to do it that way. If there's a cheaper way to do something, then jump after it. Because if you don't, somebody else is going to, and then you're eventually going to. So, the Catholic Church fought against the invention and spread of the printing press. It's just natural for people to fight against that stuff, but it's but whoever fights against this technology, new technology, they end up losing. So the quicker you wake up and you go after it, the better off you're gonna be, dude. So yeah, man, all the way genetically modified. Because I've got a big bucket list. There's so much stuff I want to do in my life, man. Like after 3 years, I'm not gonna be done with my. I'm gonna be done with my timeline. I'm gonna be like 40. And then I'm going to be like, oh, but I want to ride my bike across China. I want to like kayak all over the Caribbean. I want to swim up the Mississippi. I want to row a boat around the entire planet. I want to live in like Hawaii, live in my tent on the beach and surf. You know, I want to like hang out with my daughter, you know. I want to like redesign the educational system and political system of the world, but have fun and travel and have adventure at the same time, which takes a long time. I need to be healthy and strong, so I want to be able to get my hands on on organs and stuff, even if I don't have that much money. See what I'm saying? So yeah, genetically modification is good. Do it. Don't listen to Alex Jones. Don't listen to Dan Winter. These guys do not have faith. Faith is the only thing that matters. And listen to the aliens. Do what the aliens do. They do genetically modified. We've genetically modified stuff since the beginning of mankind. The Atlanteans did it. And that's not what brought the Atlanteans down. What brought the Atlanteans down were the wars and the classism. But we're ready to do that right now this time. And everything, I mean, if you look around the earth, so much of this stuff is from the old world, from the Atlantean days. We don't even realize. Pigs. You know, all the crops, everything. It's all genetically modified. It's like the Matrix. It's just an illusion. This is not, our world is not the product of like traditional survival of the fittest Darwinian evolution. It's just like accidental, you know. And this one like accidentally happened to be the best, so it went. I mean, it is like that, but there's a whole lot of manipulation going on. So we need to play God. We are God, and we need to start playing God. Step up to the plate. Yeah, we do play God. We should play God. We are God. Human beings are the keepers of the planet. So we should step up to the plate and act like it, because I don't see any aliens around hovering over our cities telling us what to do. It's up to us. So, hey, ho, ho, hey, hey, woo.